Hello, everyone. Just want to say something that's kind of interesting here, and something that needs to be addressed. Like not only just the Black community, Hispanic community, just America in general, man, and maybe the whole world. And with this whole surviving R. Kelly thing that's been going on, Dream Hampton just made a little documentary about him. And one of the documentaries just stated that yes, R. Kelly was sexually abused. I pretty much talked about that, mentioned that in my video, Surviving R. Kelly. No, wasn't bashing him, but I really believe he should be accountable for his actions. But we really need to address the elephant in the room. And I was watching Ron Will's video this morning about the sexual abuse that goes on. It's a vicious cycle. And so people get sexually abused. Like you got young men, young women, especially boys, they get sexually abused by older women, like in their 20s and the 30s. Especially last year and a few years back, man, these teachers just be giving oral sex to young boys at the age of 14, and that can psychologically damage them because at the same time, we don't know if they getting pressured to do those things so they can get academic careers or have a great career in school. They may be telling their parents don't believe them, or they feel ashamed if they actually speak out against this sexual behavior what this woman was been doing to them. And cookouts, and you got the uncles, you got some type of cousin that's sexually abusing these type of young men and women. It needs to be addressed because at the same time they getting away with these type of things, and I feel like it's just a huge downroad, a demonic spiral that goes on into an individual as they grow older. Now, sex was created for it was from God. It was created for God, for man and woman to procreate, and so we can be fruitful and multiply. It's supposed to be for a woman and a man, their spouse, their significant other. The book of First Corinthians 7 talks about a wife's body belongs to her husband, a husband's body belongs to their wife. And we pretty much misuse these things because it feels good. It gives us a sense of comfort, right? And pretty much, in all, we operate off in the flesh, and those things are not a good thing to actually live in society with. This is not a good thing to actually fulfill the kingdom of God. You're supposed to use that, as a sign of love for your spouse, and to create a legacy, man, just to keep the generation going, so this is why the God created the earth, so we continue to follow his will. And hearing about this from R. Kelly being molested, I believe he was messed about his aunt. And he probably talked about this when he was younger, but no one didn't really take care of it. Nobody didn't want to go into his aid. People think he was crazy or he felt ashamed. He probably was gonna get beaten or beat up, or violently if you would have said something about this, man. And as a man growing up, in the Black community, it can be very detrimental and hard. And so, he used some type of outlet. Thank God gave him a gift of music so he can use his talent to be one of the best artists in the world. But at the same time, he was still dealing with this demonic spirit of molestation, of sexual abuse, and he's turning on that to use that against other people, other kids. So he said, well, since I was overpowered, by these individuals when I was young, now I have money, now I have fame, I have a huge influence. I can get any woman in the world. I'm gonna do this to these young girls and manipulate them, and and that's how Satan gets and eats you inside. And just this with this R. Kelly thing. I mean, it's many people who's not even famous that go through this on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I had a homegirl. I'm not going to mention her name, but she was just telling me how she was sexually abused, man, in her life, and how it kind of disrupt her dating life. It made her think about just a lot of things, man. Not to really put her trust in men, not to value marriage, not to value a lot of things, man. But now she used that as fuel to change her life and utilize the Bible in a good way to finding a significant other. And see, that's a good mechanism. That's a good positive way and reinforcement to use. And so many young boys and girls, man, they just go through this on a day-to-day basis, in Hispanic community everywhere, man. And some of them, if they don't have a right mentor or they don't have a right guidance or foundation, especially with Christ, they can be lost in the sauce pretty much. I mean, they can lose their way and pretty much not prosper because of that, man. No matter how successful they are externally, And I just think that's something that we need to address. You know, yeah, we can go in here and bash R. Kelly. We can bash all these people, what they doing is wrong. Yeah, they do need to be coming for their actions. They should not just be a continuously cycle. But I really wish the Me Too movement or other, you know, groups, man, that can really address the situation, talk about this, and held these people accountable who's doing these things to these people, man. Especially when they're young, because your mind's just still developing. You still trying to learn new things in the world. But you know, you get sexually abused, it really messes you up mentally, man, and to the point that you know you want to get back at your bullies. Like you get bullied a lot, and once you have some type of power, you want to bully those who bullied you, or you know have an opportunity to feel like what it's like to be a tyrant. And I just think that, you know, right now this is a huge vicious cycle that goes on in our world, in our community. So I don't know the statistics of how many, you know, 1 or 5 men or women get abused as they grow older before the age of 18, something like that, man. But I remember back in the day, like, you know, your great grandparents used to get married at the age of 16. That was a different time and age at that time, but I guess that's when people was very family oriented. But you know, being sexually abused, man, and forced to these things, it's a really wrongful thing. Yeah, arranged marriages, there's a lot of that stuff, man. So that's why I said love can be a great thing, and also too it can be dangerous. But a lot of people can't really control their flesh, man, to the point that they just do things what feels good, and internally damage an individual. So it's pretty much thinking about the bigger picture of what people go through, man. The bigger picture of like what is this all this sex and you know pedophilia that goes on. Pedophilia trying to get rights. You sexually attracted to kids. You molesting kids, and when those kids grow up, it's like it's still hitting inside them. Like, why did this have to happen to me? You know, I mean, it's pretty much a generational type of curse. It's a demon that's eating them inside. Remember, demons have no eyes to see, no ears to hear. Only thing you can extract them is from Jesus Christ. So it's all comes back to that. But I just think that, you know, it's a demonic seed that's been planted, you know, for people who's been sexually abused, man. And I pray for those individuals, man. It's really a harmful thing, man, to go through, man. And that people don't understand why you acting like this or why you coming out like this, and you feel embarrassed to talk about. But we need more discussion groups talking about sexual abuse. We need people that can actually handle these type of people that's doing these things. They need to be in jail, like for real, man. That's just molesting kids. At the end of the day, man, we can't live in a culture that's embraced these things and hitting. You got kids that talks about this stuff like, oh, mom, dad, like my baby sister is sexually abusing me, touching me, molesting me, forcing me to do sexual things, and I feel uncomfortable. Instead of you brushing away, or you know, you doing your half-ass investigating it. I mean, I think we need to hold these people accountable, and they need to be punished for what they done, man, at an early stage. So that's just kind of how I feel about this. I guess you could say this is a little part two of it, but now it's just thinking about this morning, just hearing other people's thoughts, man. It really is an eye opener though. But a lot of this stuff goes on in this community here and in America in general. But I'm just praying for those, man. I had a home friend. His girlfriend was actually raped 3 times growing up, man. It's tough, man. It's really tough, man. Because at the end of the day, as human beings, we want to be loved. We want to be accepted. You know, money and all that stuff is superficial. It really is. I mean, it comes and goes. But if you don't have love, it's just like, what's the point of living? You could be a millionaire, but you have nobody to love you, who cares about you. You feel like, you know, what's the point of me living? And that's when depression sinks in. So just something to think about, man. It's going to my morning routine, so go to the gym. But that's all I have to say, man. You guys continue to like, comment, subscribe, discuss about this, man. My heart goes out to those people who go through those things. And then I think this is one of the reasons, like R. Kelly is going through stuff he's going through, because he's a celebrity. But I still believe that there should be no excuse for him to continuously to do this to people that's coming up in the world as well. He still need to be accountable. But yeah, we just need people to talk to on this, man, to end this vicious cycle with sexual abuse. It's your boy Young Lee Jr. I'm out. Deuces.